Tales of Berseria released in North America on PS4, but in Japan it was also released on PS3, 3 years after the PS4 was already out. When the game was released outside of Japan, it was also released on Windows. So being that the game is already playable on PS4 and subsequently PS5 and PC, why bother remastering it as a part of the ongoing Tales remastering project? First thing is that the prior Steam version wasn't available in Japan, and the other thing is that it would seem that remastering Berseria didn't take dev time or anything away from the other games because multiple developers have been handling the series of Tales remasters anyway. Xillia was handled by Doki Doki, Graces was handled by Tosei, who was also handling Eternia Remastered, and Symphonia was handled by Bandai Namco Romania. This is also why the port qualities can vary significantly. There's a bunch of games that were released in the last year I could talk about, though I was eager to continue playing through Berseria as I thoroughly enjoyed its story as well as Velvet, so I'm also eager to introduce the game to more people and find how you'd best enjoy it regardless if it's through the original or the remaster. So let's discuss some changes between gameplay, visuals, and content. The remaster includes some nice quality of life changes such as the starting grade shop like the other recent Tales remasters. You're free to ignore the grade shop at the start of this one because anything here that you can toggle on or off will still be available in the grade shop as you play. You can also toggle encounters off in the settings, toggle all the maps in the area to be immediately visible as opposed to only showing them as you enter them, which is nice to have for your first time through dungeons, toggle skipping events you've already seen, and toggle a destination icon overlay. Offline co-op is still in Berseria Remastered as well, though the controller order assigning for the remaster on PC isn't in-game, and I think they just want you to assign a controller order via Steam controls. And now while we're talking about this quirk with co-op, while the original game on Steam actually does support Steam's remote play, and the remaster on PS5 also supports remote play, the remaster on Steam for some reason right now does not support remote play, and I remember hearing about this issue with a number of Tales remasters on Steam as well. So if you want to play those ones co-op, you gotta use something like Parsec for it. On PS3, Berseria was 30 FPS, and on PS4 the game is 60 FPS as well as higher resolution. According to the Japanese website for the remaster, on PS5 and Xbox Series X you get a 4K 60 experience. On Xbox Series S you get 1440p 60. On Switch docked it's 1080p 30, and undocked it's 720p 30. And even between the PC version of the original and remaster, assets are visibly higher resolution, so if you're playing at any higher resolution than 1080 on PC, the remaster will look sharper than the original would look. There is no Switch 2 version, so once again, even if you buy the game on Switch 2, you are stuck with a 30 FPS lock with substantial input delay. And on Switch 1 itself, the game has notable slowdown in crowded spaces, so even then it doesn't feel as good as the PlayStation 3's 30 FPS. The input lag is so bad I roughly measured it, and factoring in the input lag of the Switch 1 screen, I measured it in the ballpark of 150 ms, which is absurd. So we are once again asking Bandai Namco to show the Switch 2 some love with updates because the only 60 FPS Tales game on Switch 2 is Vesperia because the Switch 1 version was just uncapped. Good news for PC players, there was actually an update over time that added a 120 FPS mode to the game. There is a catch though that the game needs to maintain whatever frame rate you set or else it will slow down. If for any reason the game is set to 120 but is capped at 75 or 90 or just simply can't maintain 120, then you will not have a good time. And while playing the game at 120, I definitely feel that there is some sort of memory leak going on, because after playing for like an hour or two, the frame rate pretty much locks down to 117, 118, 119, and will never go back up to 120. Restarting the game fixes it, and the same areas that were 117 before are perfectly fine at 120 now. So I hope that could be addressed too. Now when the game was originally released overseas, Bandai Namco disclosed that a scene near the start of the game where a character was impaled by another had to be changed due to the PEGI rating board. This change then carried over to the remaster in all regions, though if you care enough, both PC versions have a mod for the scene anyway, or you could look it up after you finish the prologue. It's not necessary by any means, it's just that I've seen it argued that it's interesting to know about for later in the game. The original game is $50 and hasn't been on sale since the end of 2024. The 2026 remaster is $40 with all prior DLC included except the licensed Idolmaster costumes. The Those are the only cut content here in the remaster. The original, when it did go on sale, went on some pretty deep ones at that, so I imagine that with time the remaster will hit close to those sales too. Now, on one hand, thinking about it, the remaster could have been an update to the original to avoid losing content, but the remaster was actually a Unity port, and maybe that enables better scalability higher than 1080, though at least now you're aware of what you're missing and if that's important to you. While I'm playing through and thoroughly enjoying the remaster on PC, I wouldn't see myself having a problem playing through the other versions since the quality of life changes are nice, but not make or break for me personally, besides the Switch version due to that input lag. And once again, I am hopeful that the Tales series can finally get some love on Switch 2 with some nice patches. I don't want to push for paid upgrades, but I at least want to see something. And that's it for this video. This video was another short concept test video, but at the same time we covered just about as much of a port review does anyway, in this example at least. But again, if they release any updates for the game akin to that 120 FPS patch, I'll be back for something. Anyway, there'll be more videos soon. Thank you to my patrons for their continued support, as well as the YouTube members, it means a lot, and thank you all again for watching.